Right guys, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my preview for Chelsea's away game at Old Trafford against Manchester United in our 6th game of the Premier League season. One that I'm very sceptical about, not too sure how it's going to go after our last two results, a draw against Southampton and a draw against Sevilla as well, which you guys can check out the reviews for if you are so interested. But if you do enjoy these match previews, please be sure to leave a like, comment down below your predicted lineup, which I'll be getting into mine a bit later, as well as your predicted score for the game as well. I would love to know what you guys think is going to happen. But with that said, quick on the team news. Only injury so far that Lampard has noted is that Kepa has a shoulder injury, so he will not be making the trip to Manchester. Now, not going to lie guys, might sound a little bit harsh, but I was quite relieved when I actually heard this news. Not because of anything against Kepa, even though, we could all go into a whole thing about what he's been like recently, or pretty much for the whole of last season as well. But I was dreading that we would have an injury to someone like Thiago Silva, or maybe Eduard Mendy's thigh injury has flared up. But luckily not, at least so far, so hopefully they will be all okay for the game. But yeah, so we've got pretty much a full squad available to us. Manchester United are without Anthony Martial when he picked up that red card against Spurs, that very controversial red card. Or maybe it wasn't so controversial that he got the red card, but it was that Lamela did not also get one. But yeah, besides that, I think they are full strength as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they do line up against us, especially after that big win against PSG. I know that Tuanzebe had a very good game in that match as well, but not too sure if he'll start for them. But this isn't about Manchester United, this is about Chelsea, and I'll be giving you guys my predicted lineup for the game, which I think will probably be very similar to a lot of other Chelsea fans' lineup as well. The only issue I had was about the right back, but I'll get onto that in a second. First off, obviously starting in goal, Eduard Mendy will hopefully be starting between the sticks for Chelsea. Two very solid performances, or I should say three. He had a decent performance against Spurs as well, for that being his first game, basically just chucked in there in the Carabao Cup. Against Crystal Palace and against Sevilla, he did also keep some clean sheets as well. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's an amazing goalkeeper or a great goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, he at least seems competent at the moment, and that is miles ahead of what our other goalkeepers are bringing to the table. So he's definitely going to start in goal, and hopefully he can have another comfortable performance, especially when he'll be facing Manchester United and probably getting a lot more shots on his goal. So we'll definitely see, and he'll definitely be tested during this game, so hopefully he can pull through. Going into the back four, obviously Ben Chilwell is going to be at the left back role. Just been great since he's come into the team, so I think that he needs to continue to play, especially in these sort of big games against Manchester United. Centre backs, I've gone with Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva. Now, Thiago Silva, he just brings a bit more communication, a bit more solidity to the defence. At least that's what we've seen in the few performances he has had. Hopefully he's fully fit, as he did pull up just before that Sevilla match, but pulled through anyway, so he should be okay. Kurt Zouma hasn't had the best last two games, did make some mistakes against Sevilla and did make a crucial mistake against Southampton. That was sort of him and Kepa combining to make a pretty poor mistake. To be honest guys, I know that some people have been coming out and saying that, oh, he needs to not make those mistakes. So some have even been talking about him getting replaced for Christensen or something. I'm not even going to go into my whole Christensen stuff, guys, but we just know that that should not be the case. Kurt Zouma and Thiago Silva needs to be the pairing, at least for now, and we need that solid defensive line where we're not chopping and changing, and he definitely offers loads. I mean, there's obviously this stat about him winning the most aerial duels so far in the league. He offers way more than that though, guys. He progresses the ball, he pings it to flanks. People don't talk about his passing enough, and whilst yes, he can maybe lead to an error, at least he's trying to progress play. And also just his physical presence is just something to behold. I think him next to Thiago Silva makes a really nice pairing as well, especially with Silva's much older age. So those two need to be starting in centre-back for me. Right back, now this is completely a toss-up. I really do not mind who we see out of Reece James or Azpilicueta. They both bring different things. Maybe Azpi brings a bit more defensive solidity and a bit more of a leadership role. Maybe away against Manchester United, that should be something that we look at. But Reece James as well adds a bit more attacking threat, also adds just some big physicality, a bit more pace. Whoever it will probably be up against Marcus Rashford, who I guess could be starting up front, so you don't know, maybe they'll be against Mata, but Cavani could be playing for Manchester United, so maybe he won't start though, so maybe it will be Mata or someone they're against. Again, not too sure. pretty much been changing my mind about this the whole time, but just because, in my opinion, he had the man of the match performance against Sevilla, I'm going with Reece James to start at right back. I just think his physical presence could be something really great for this team and can add a bit more attacking threat when against Sevilla we didn't necessarily have the most attacking mindset in that game. Going next to the double pivot, I think it has to be Jorginho and Kante. Now, I've actually heard some people talking about it being Jorginho and Kovacic going forward. Some people may be thinking that Kante doesn't fit into the system, and I kind of see where people are coming from at the moment, but I also just think give him a few games and Kante will be at his peak, at his prime, and people will be questioning why we ever said he should come out the team. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a Jorginho and Kovacic. Obviously, they do contrast. I think Jorginho has to be in the pivot. Whichever one is next to him, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I personally think it should still probably be Kante, and definitely for this Manchester United game, I think he definitely does need to be Kante starting, just because him and Jorginho have played together the last few games. Kovacic hasn't really been in the side, so I do think just to keep a bit more of a solid state of mind in the team, I think Kante and Jorginho should be the pivot. Going into the next three above them and below the striker, this could be a bit controversial, so I'm going with Pulisic to be on the left. Hopefully Lampard will actually start him on the left-hand side this time. Don't know why he was ever on the right, maybe some sort of defensive tactic, I don't really know, but he just looks so much better on the left-hand side against Sevilla. Kai Havertz obviously in the middle, but I am actually going to go with Mason Mount on the right-hand side. Now, again, this might cater to why as well I've selected Reece James now that I'm thinking about it. Obviously, he can provide a bit more attacking threat down the right, and Mason Mount can cover for him, so that could actually be quite a decent combination, them on the right-hand side. But also, Ziyech hasn't really had loads of minutes yet. He's made a few bench appearances, but he hasn't really wowed or done anything that suggests that he should be starting this game, in my opinion. So I do think Mount has to start just for his energy, just to lead the press against his Manchester United side. Ziyech can obviously come on later. Hudson-Odoi, I think he's really just a victim of circumstance in the fact that our defence hasn't been classed as solid yet, so he maybe, as he doesn't have the best defensive work rate, I think it's getting better, but maybe that's why he's not really getting a sniff in the team, which is a shame. I'd love it if he started, but I think that's probably quite unlikely for him to just be chucked in this match. But yeah, I'm actually going with Mason Mount. I didn't think that he was really... I think against Sevilla he did his job, but he wasn't really anything special. I think against Southampton, whilst I think the point of him being thrown out on the wing is too much, is a fair point, I don't think he was poor against Southampton. I think he did his job. He scored 3 goals, so really that was more of a defensive issue going into that game. But yeah, Mount on the right to me. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Maybe some of you disagree with that, but I'd love to see. Up front, it's got to be Timo Werner. Maybe a bit unlucky against Sevilla. Didn't really have the best of games in the sense that he was making some heavy touches. Sort of couldn't get the ball out of his feet. But against Southampton, he was absolutely on fire against their high line. Now, United probably won't play a high line. I've heard some people suggest that maybe playing Abraham and Werner on the wing and then having Pulisic on the right, maybe. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't necessarily be against Abraham starting, but I do think it will be Werner still up front. He just seems to be a lot more alive and a lot better in his striker position down the middle, even though he does drift from side to side occasionally. So I do think he does have to start, and hopefully he can terrorise the Manchester United backline, which does look like it's getting a little bit better, which is a shame, but still someone with Werner's pace and just the problems he could cause could be quite exciting for us. So that is going to be my lineup, guys. Like I said, maybe Aspi for Reece James, but I'm not too sure, especially if Mount's going to start on the wing. So it could change a little bit. I'd love to hear your guys' team lineups in the comments below. So be sure to tell me as well. And with that, I'm going to be getting into my score prediction now. I usually always predict for us to win, and to be honest, guys, I'm never going to predict for us to lose a game. But I'm actually going to be really optimistic, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think everyone's talking about so much of who's going to win, Ole or Lampard. People talking about how United beat us all those times last season, or how Chelsea beat United in the FA Cup, the most recent meeting between the sides. I think it's going to be a draw. I can't see United not scoring in this game. And I don't necessarily think that would be a bad thing in the defence. Obviously, you kind of expect your defence to concede to a team like Manchester United, especially when you're us. Hopefully people like Mendy and Silva will stop that from happening, but I'm not too sure. Going to be quite... try and be quite realistic here. I think that Rashford will get a goal because he always likes to score against us. And I also think Manchester United will get a penalty because it's Manchester United and they get a penalty pretty much every single game. So I think that's a guaranteed 2 goals for them, guys, which is annoying. Hopefully I'm wrong. But I think we're going to score 2 as well. And I'm actually going to go for a 2-2 draw. Pretty rare that I actually predict something that's not a win. But I just have this weird feeling about this game that we're not going to win this match. I think a draw away at Manchester United would be decent. It would be 3 draws in a row, which is a little bit disappointing. I would much prefer a win. Hopefully we don't lose. Obviously, if we lose, maybe questions will start popping up about Lampard or about the price of the team, stuff like that. I think we probably shouldn't listen to that because obviously losing against a Manchester United team away, it's not the worst thing, but you know, these are the type of big games where questions will be asked. For the scorers for Chelsea, though, I said 2-2. I'm going to go for Werner to get another goal. At least that's what I hope for. And I'm also going to go for why not a substitute goal from Tammy Abraham off the bench to score a late equaliser. Why not? That could be quite interesting. United going 2-1 up, sitting back deep, and Abraham picking up the equaliser late on in the match. Maybe a bit out there for me, but let me know what you guys predict the score to be in this game, and let me know who you think's going to score as well. I'd love to know. I hope you guys did enjoy this preview. My match review will obviously be out after the game has commenced, so do stay tuned to the channel for that. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more Chelsea FC content as well as Fantasy Premier League and FIFA 21 content as well. Hope you guys do have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.